Italian might and muscle.
Problem with Italian food abroad? Well, there are many. From using the wrong ingredients to creating Italian dishes that have never set foot in Italy, or worse yet, creating these over-complex dishes and missing the simplicity that makes Italian cuisine so beautiful. I thought I left Italy behind. Turns out I didn't. Bring your passport because today we're traveling from the heart of Thailand to Italy, one bite at a time. For all my Italian food lovers out there, this one's for you. But is this really Italian food or just a clever imitation? Well, stick around because by the end of the video, we'll know whether or not we can really trust Italian food abroad. Buongiorno.
Welcome to Aqua.
We are here at Aqua Restaurant in the heart of Bangkok, a city that's known for spicy curries, not creamy carbonara. And maybe it's as night and day here in Bangkok as it is in your hometown. But regardless, we're gonna dive fork first into these Italian plates to see if it can transport us to Italy.
Welcome to us.
We are in luck. There are a lot of classic plates on this menu, and then plenty of traditional Italian plates with a twist. Where to begin? Where to begin? So we are in the capital of Thailand. This is Bangkok, and you wouldn't know it. We're in the middle of the hustle and bustle that is the city, but we're within this little jungle setting right next to the Chitlom BTS. But the location doesn't matter too much today. It's all about this concept. Can we trust Italian food abroad? The menu says Italian, but my taste buds are preparing for a cultural whiplash. Who knew? Here in a city that's famous for its pad thai, you might find pasta that's worth writing home about. I'm looking down the list of antipastos, and this is where the restaurant really sets the tone. It's the overture to a symphony of flavors. Can an Italian restaurant like this abroad really play the right notes? The octopus salad? Let's do the carpaccio. Oh wow. Yeah, nice little punch. Stiamo facendo un giro d'Italia qua. And because we're at a high-end restaurant, well, there's a benvenuto, welcome snack. Alessandro, the chef right here, the owner chef, what did you bring us?
The Sardinian antipasto, and the second one, Italian sweet chili stuffed with tuna. And this is a tart with the wild mushroom and the Castelmagno cheese.
Oh yeah. I'm about to find out if the scene here abroad today in Bangkok can transport us all the way to Italy. Stick around because there's a dish here that completely surprised me and it might surprise you too. Oh, incoming, we have our antipasto crab. This is a carpaccio, thinly sliced plate of can be anything. In this case is scallops, and we see on top here, look at this, Chef Alessandro shaved black truffles on top. We have some garden greens sprinkled on an edible flour, and some asparagus is thinly sliced. I was checking out now. You have to be a little bit creative when you're making Italian food abroad, and in this case, it was fresher to get the scallops from, not Italy, but from Japan, and the asparagus fresh from here in Thailand. So this is a great fusion of what Italian food can be abroad. The question is, what's it gonna taste like? Oh, super fresh. And there's the hit of lime in there too. We saw the chef scraping off parts of the lime and then squeezing on a bit of lime juice as well. On there, we see these little balls of what are aceto di vino, balsamic vinegar. These little, and they pack a punch that's a mix of acid as well as smooth flavor from this freshly cut scallop. This is great because we're getting fresh ingredients from everywhere around the world to make this Italian plate. Yeah, the scallops are from Japan, but we have this olive oil that's not from Tuscany. No, the chef is from Sardinia, so he made sure the olive oil came from Sardinia. We have the balsamic vinegar that's from Modena. We're taking a little Giro d'Italia, a little trip around Italy, but mixing in parts of Japan, parts of Thailand, in a dish that's coming across quite well. Is this a prelude to perfection? Well, stick with me, you're gonna find out. Oh, and I forgot to mention these thinly little black sliced things. Well, they're truffles, not the expensive white truffles, but pretty expensive black truffles. And yeah, they're from Piedmont. Oh.
Favorite and all-time signature. It's always good.
Great minds think alike. One issue with Italian restaurants abroad is that they can lack direction. Italian without the slightest hint of Michelangelo or Maserati. Here, from what I can see, we got an Italian conductor leading his troops into battle. In Italy, the ingredients are hyper fresh, hyper local. They could be coming just from around the block, but to pull off something like that abroad, say for example here in Bangkok, well, the chef needs to get a little bit inventive, and you need to know whether or not the ingredients are shipped in fresh or if there's a clever substitute. And a lot of times you can only tell by diving head first, trying out the different restaurants like what we're doing here today. And it's not a bad thing for you. You can hit up all the trattorias and ristorante in your neighborhood. Here so far, it seems like we have the real deal.
All the memories start from the rainy days, countryside, pick the snail, the day after of the rain, pick the mushrooms. When you go in the countryside, you see the farms and always the ducks all together around. So mushroom, snail, foie gras.
It looks like the UFO or a flying saucer in this case landed on the table. It's our first course, the primo. In Italian, in Italy, the first course can make or break the restaurant. Is it gonna be a masterpiece or a mess? And frankly, abroad, the standards, they're even higher. I'm sure you've been there, you've had your doubts. The pasta soggy, the sauce tastes canned, and the Parmigiano, heck, maybe it's from Phoenix. Oh, I'm liking what Chef Alessandro did here. It's this risotto, and the classic risotto is risotto milanese, that saffron rice that you get in Milan, but oh, look at this. This is a twist on a classic plate that is made with ingredients that he remembers back at home with these mushrooms and snails. He would go out picking them with his father when he was in Sardinia. Well, this is risotto with a twist. It's not your typical risotto milanese, but it's like taking an Italian side road instead of the main autostrada. I think this could give risotto milanese a run for its money, or maybe it's gonna crash harder than my first Vespa ride in Naples. Let's find out. Oh, we get the creaminess from the faux gras that's in there, imported from France. We have a slight hint of Parmigiano mixed into the sauce. And oh yeah, don't forget the mushrooms and the black truffles. This dish is something Chef Alessandro created to remember his hometown, his home region of Sardinia, when he was out as a kid, collecting the mushrooms and collecting the snails. And oh yeah, did I mention the snails from France? That adds to the creamy texture too. Oh, buon appetito. Wait until you hear how hard it is for an Italian chef to make sure the food is Italian when cooking it abroad. Stick around. And this one, it has it. Now with pasta, you know, everybody talks about it. Al dente, that's what you want to make sure it has, that it's not too soggy, well, like you'd find in France. Sorry, France. With risotto, with rice from Italy, you want to make sure it's slightly croccante, that it's been cooked just right around 20 minutes. And this stuff here, yeah, it has that crunch we're looking for. I just want to explain a few things to you that can help you out in any Italian restaurant you go to, whether it's in the homeland itself, Italy, or abroad. Because one man's carbonara is another man's creamy disaster. Now, it's okay when you go to a restaurant to share plates of food. I order a first course, a plate of pasta, I share it with my partner. Or You can also share, once somebody orders a second course plate, a plate of meat or fish, and I order a plate of pasta and we share it. But we don't have those items coming together on one plate. If you see that in an Italian restaurant, well, you know it's a disaster. Don't do that. And don't expect, if you're gonna order a first and a second course, they're gonna come out at the same time. In Italy, they like to take things slow, piano, piano. So you enjoy your first course, and then a little bit of a break. Maybe you go outside to smoke a cigarette. I'm not gonna blame you. And then you enjoy your second course. And oh yeah, I know it's a controversial issue, but you can take your bread and just soak up a little bit of sauce and then eat it. It's called scarpetta, so enjoy. Another thing I want you to keep an eye on is balance. In Italy, it's all about a good balance. Portion perfection is what I like to call it. They don't overdo it, and that's what you find sometimes abroad. They'll bring you out a big plate of spaghetti carbonara, and it's just overflowing way too much, double carbed. Obviously here, we're in an upper end fine dining restaurant, so it's even more about the plating. But you wanna make sure you get that balance. The portion perfection is perfetto. And if you see any sort of crazy items on the menu like spaghetti with pineapple, well, you know you've entered a danger zone.
My name is Alessandro Frau from Sardinia, and I'm the owner of Aqua Restaurant. We are in Bangkok, exactly between Ploenchit and Chidlom area, which is the central, really central area, business, luxury shopping mall.
The heart of the big mango.
Yes. You know, me and my wife arrived in Thailand 20 years ago. We decided to open our own restaurant, and we opened in Phuket, Aqua. And then after 15 years in Phuket, we said we need something more challenging. And then we decided to open Aqua Bangkok. And we've been so lucky to find this amazing location.
Do you see other restaurants, not only in Thailand, but abroad outside of Italy, that take shortcuts and that aren't truly authentic Italian?
Exactly, no, many restaurants do that. But for me, you know, as I said, I have something inside that I cannot say what because you don't like.
Don't use the word passion.
No,
Passione.
But la passione. This make you do all the best, to have the best ingredient, challenge yourself, don't take easy shortcuts. You know, I decided to be Italian restaurant really authentic. Yes, we have our reinterpretation of the tradition, but you know, we start from the tradition to create the evolution. But everything is stick to the original and traditional recipes of Italy. When you eat, even if it's modern version, when you eat, is the flavors of Italy.
Now I've seen you have a lot of Thai clientele here. The locals come to this restaurant to get a taste of Italy. Is there anything you need to do to adjust the Italian food to meet their taste palates?
No, nothing. Just the few
Maybe
comments.
Sprinkle in a few chilies?
No way, no way. We are totally authentic, and the customer appreciate that. The one for your main course. Yeah.
So I just ordered the tuna, and in Bangkok it's great because you can get everything delivered fresh, and they just deliver this big chunk of tuna to the restaurant.
This is amazing. You see the color, it's fantastic.
And where's the tuna from?
This one is from Japan.
Okay, in Italian, antipasto, that literally translates into before meal. Then you have your first course, your primo. After that, it's your secondo, your second course. And for God's sake, in this Italian restaurant abroad, the chef better not be cooking up chicken parmesan. The secondo, this is where an Italian restaurant shows its heart. Simple, soulful, packed with flavor. Let's see if they've got it. Oh, tuna Milanese crap. This is the chef's twist on the classic cotoletta Milanese, but instead of a little beaten baby cow, we have a tuna fish that's straight from the Japanese water, fresh. We saw it pulled in by a Grab delivery driver, big chunk of red tuna. Here on a bed of tomato and oregano paste with some beautiful, vibrant cherry tomatoes on top, some greenery, well, that we'll discard, but we're getting really this tricolore that represents Italy, here served up in a place that's 6 time zones away from the Roman Colosseum. But frankly, this is teleporting us directly back to the capital. Let's get it. Wait, stay tuned because there's a dessert coming up with a twist that I think will surprise you. This just works. It's tuna, breaded slightly as you would do with a cotoletta, put in a frying pan, snack, both sides, deep fried, brought out here to us on this plate. Simple yet delicious, and that's what Italian food is all about, whether or not if you're in Rome or, in this case, in Bangkok. So good. So on the cotoletta milanese, you'd have the breaded outside, you'd have the baby veal on the inside, which is great, don't get me wrong. After years around Milan and Lake Como, I love my cotoletta milanese. But this right here, this tuna twist, tuna from Japan, Italian might and muscle into the preparation, and what we have, I would say perfetto. So what are some guidelines when you're roaming out and about abroad, trying to find that perfect Italian restaurant? Well, one rule I want you to think about is simplicity. In Italy, the dishes are all about simplicity. 3 or 4 ingredients, 4 maximum, and that's it. Oftentimes abroad, they have a tendency to overcomplicate things. So keep an eye out when you're walking around. Is it simple or is it not? Authenticity versus adaptation. In Italy, they stay true to the roots. That's what they're famous for. Abroad, yeah, you have to adapt things a little bit and go with the punches. So when you're walking around, if you see a dish that is a little bit creative, that's okay. We have to be a little bit flexible when we're searching for that Italian perfection abroad. And the big no-nos, oh, believe me, there are some big no-nos. Even Italian restaurants in Italy do things wrong sometimes to cater what they think to the tourist. Well, look out for garlic bread with pasta or garlic bread at all. That's a big no-no. Cheese on fish or on pasta with fish, you never want the Parmigiano cheese. If they're making their carbonara pasta with cream, well, steer clear of that. And if the pasta plates come with a side of vegetables or meat or fish on the same plate, get out of that restaurant. And don't get me started on pizza with pineapple. That's just a big no-no. So give me some tips because, when you're abroad, to find a good Italian restaurant, feels like you're playing Russian roulette. You go into a restaurant, it's either hit or miss. So when you're abroad, what is your trick for spotting whether or not it's authentic or not?
I think nowadays, when you Google on the internet, you search for best Italian restaurants, then you get a selection, then you have to open and see a bit of the style. If they talk about Italian people in there, Italian chef is a very good tip. If there is Italian chef, you know that can be authentic. How they present the plates, what kind of plates they use, what kind of ingredients they use on the menu. So I can spot immediately, but okay, this is my job,
Yeah, I think some people think, well, Bangkok is just a place to go party and a place to have drinks on Khao San Road, but in actuality, there's a lot more to it, like your restaurant, and there's every sort of level you can have here.
Exactly. Depends on your intention, you can do everything.
Non torni a casa.
Now not, but in the future, for my retirement, I hope so.
What are the difficulties, if at all, of making an Italian restaurant work in Asia or abroad?
To teach the staff, because we are working with the Thai chefs or waiter, waitress, but we want to give you the Italian experience. So we have to train them not only on the cooking skills, but also on the Italian lifestyle.
Piano piano.
Piano piano, friendly, enjoy, don't be so serious, And of course in the kitchen, the flavor of Italy,
How do you
not
teach
too
that? How do you
spicy.
teach the flavor of Italy?
Basically, you know, at this level of restaurants, everything is by the book. Especially when you work abroad, you cannot cook by feelings. I can cook the same pasta 10 times, it's gonna be the same because I know the flavor, I know how to do, it's on our blood, you know? But basically at this level of restaurant, what we do, we have everything by the book.
They need that. They need those guidelines.
Exactly.
What do your Italian friends or family say when they come to visit you here in Bangkok and they see your restaurant and they taste your food?
They are surprised because, first of all, as you said before, people have perception of Thailand, you know, the
Full moon party, basta.
Yeah, full moon party, street food and cheap food. But then you come here, you see that luxury, that level, and they are, wow, they cannot believe.
They're proud of you.
Of course.
Sometimes Italian food abroad gets lost in translation, but this so far, it's speaking my language. Come here. I want to tell you a little bit of a personal story. How did I become this Italian expert? Well, I've been living in Italy many years, and yes, I also speak Italian with a bad accent. Don't get me started. It's been 20 years, I think, and when I first left the United States to go visit Italy, I wouldn't even tell my employer where I was going. I just said, look, I need a week off, and I did that 1, 2, 3 times until eventually I figured out and sorted myself and had a plan to live in Italy. It was difficult the first couple of years. In fact, I thought about going back to the United States, but afterwards, there is something that kept me in Italy. It was probably the food, and now Italy's adopted me so much, they've made me a bit of an ambassador, and they even given me citizenship. So who knew skipping work could lead to this? Taking a chance with Italian food and of course desserts abroad is like walking a tightrope. Either you're on top of the world or you're falling into despair. And look at this. This couldn't be more Italian if Chef Alessandro brought it on a Vespa, because we had the mocha pot. We have what looks to be tiramisu inside, but this is actually similar to a panna cotta. It's a flan inside there with the coffee caramel sauce on top, mixed berries, and it reminds Chef Alex of his home when he was a kid, making this sort of flan at home, and now it comes to us. I don't know whether not to pour it in a glass or to eat it. What are we doing here? Something tells me this is where things could get interesting. If you're a fan of Italian food like me, well, please show some support and give this video a like. Also, have you subscribed yet? Because I see a lot of people aren't yet subscribed. Don't miss out. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you're not gonna miss out on any of the content. If you want exclusive content, well, be a Patreon member, and there you can find all sorts of other things that you can't find. Hold on, let's just get into this. Oh yeah. Here, I could be driving a Ferrari down the A1 Autostrada, cigarette in hand, some Pavarotti on the CD player, and yeah, we got Italian on a spoon in our mouth. 5 stars for the presentation, 5 stars for the taste. My trip to Italy has been direct. No delays, no layovers on this culinary cruise. Oh yeah. You know, Italians don't really do antipasto, primo, secondo, dolce at every lunch, every dinner, but as you and I have been enlisted to strength test Italian food abroad, I feel it's only right that I indulge. I'm doing this for you, the viewer. This mocha flan is like a hug from Nonna, if Nonna had a Bangkok zip code. Eating Italian food abroad, well, it can be like going on a blind date. Love at first bite, or you're ghosting the chef by the time the dessert arrives. Turns out we didn't need to hop on a plane to fly to Italy and get that authentic taste. Here in Bangkok, in a land that's known for its pad thai and green curries, Italian flavors are alive and well. Now it's your turn. Let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite Italian restaurant abroad? Buon appetito. And if you're planning a trip to Italy, and if you want to know the ins and outs of eating in restaurants, well, I made a whole e-guide about it. You can download it, have it offline in your pocket. But instead, if you want to watch a quick and dirty video about it, check this out. See you there.